we're keeping a close eye on that weather radar. Big storm system just in time for Thanksgiving. Millions could be affected. We'll keep you posted on how the forecast changes.
The Supreme Court taking up a new health care dispute. The justices agreeing to consider whether a company can refuse to provide contraceptive care to female employees on the grounds that doing so would violate its religious freedom.
Also, a rare and near complete dinosaur skeleton found in America on display in the UK. For what reason, I can't tell you, but it's an auction. Could go for more than $900,000, though auctioneers admit they don't really know what the price tag could be because, well, they've never found one like this before.
Or sold one.
Right, and so they could jack it up, right?
Dinosaur skeleton, priceless.
$900,000 could be yours. Oh, the getting's good.
You know who's vulnerable in this election coming up? Every single Democrat who said, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. And they're all on record, they're all on video having said it, and guess what? It's every vulnerable Democrat. There's a video of that that's going to be played in every election, showing them saying, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan, and that's going to be devastating to them in the elections, and they're trapped. They don't know how to get out of it.
That is a warning for Democrats from the former speechwriter for President Bush, Mark Thiessen, with Megyn last night, with just now 4 days to go into that deadline, the new deadline to fix healthcare.gov.
And there are big questions about whether Democrats could break ranks if that does not happen. So let's debate it. Jonathan Coleggio is a Republican strategist and director of for the super PAC American Crossroads. Marjorie Clifton is a former consultant to the Obama campaign and CEO of Clifton Consulting. Great to have both of you here.
Good
Marjorie,
afternoon.
I want to start with you. You're the perfect guest. You were part of the you consulted to the Obama campaign, so I'm curious about strategy. What is going on inside the strategy rooms of Democrats right now for how they're going to tackle this if the enrollment numbers don't multiply soon?
Well, I wish most Democrats knew. Everyone's sort of looking around going, who's holding the ball and how is this going to play out, which is why you are seeing, exactly as you said, a lot of Democrats sort of safely distancing themselves from this entire project. I mean, I kind of look at it like football season. There's a lot of Redskin shirts running around town when we're having a good season, but when we're not, all of a sudden they disappear. And I think it is. It's a very scary, scary time. And frankly, I mean, the funniest thing I heard was Jon Stewart saying, well, he said December 1st. He just didn't say which December 1st it's going to be.
Well done, Marjorie. It is almost the new year. Okay, Jonathan, before you answer now, 2.5 weeks ago, November 7th, this is what the president said about the new deadline that's already 2 months late. Roll this.
I'm confident that it will be even better by November 30th, and that the majority of people are going to be able to get on there, they're going to be able to enroll, they're going to be able to apply, and they're going to get a good deal, a better deal than they've got right now when it comes to buying health insurance.
So I guess the clock is running, right, Jonathan?
Well, that's also kind of a low bar, isn't it, Bill? I mean, only 50,000 people have actually been able to use the website, so it's going to be better. They got millions of people to register. On the political side of this, I think it's important to look back at 2010. There was a huge backlash against Obamacare in 2010. It resulted in a lot of Republican pickup. 2012, not so much. People weren't sure how the law was going to impact them. But now that we're seeing the harm that this law is doing, the issue is exploding, and it's being reflected in that congressional ballot test, which is the question when the pollsters asked a Republican or a Democrat. Now, that has swung 10 points toward the Republicans in the last month. They have a 2-point advantage. What's crazy about this is that Republicans never lead the congressional ballot. The only time they have in the last 20 years was in 1994 when they picked up 54 seats in the U.S. House, and in 2010 when they picked up 63 seats in the U.S. House. This is a disaster for Democrats, and I think that they're starting to see just how big of a disaster it will be.
Marjorie, is it time for the Obama administration to come up with a contingency plan rather than just crossing their fingers and hoping that 4 days from now everything works? Do they need to start articulating a plan B?
Well, from what I understand, they are actually working on some of those contingency plans, which might mean direct outreach to consumers and other platforms. But, I mean, again, as was just mentioned, the bar for Congress is absolutely low, and it is about the execution. And I think there are so many unknowns. And actually, when I look at the execution, the biggest challenge is yes, the website, but it's also in the communication of what the plan really means. Because there's a lot of unknowns. People talk about, oh, the premiums are going to go up, but really we don't actually know what it's going to look like until we have enrollment. And there's a lot of just misconceptions and misunderstanding about what it's actually going to look like when it does come
That's a great point. And sign-ups are not enrollees, as you know.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
enrollees actually pay money, and they're the ones who really count. Jonathan, back on your political point, though, about Democrats.
Yeah.
You believe it's not just the conservative Democrats who are red in the face, but it's liberal Democrats. Where?
No, I mean, even Congressman Bruce Braley, who's the liberal trial lawyer congressman in Iowa, he's talking about holding hearings. Diana DeJette in Colorado, from liberal downtown Denver, Colorado, is complaining about the law. The big question here, though, is whether or not there's just going to have a continuance of rhetorical complaints or whether they actually come around on delaying the bill. I mean, Kathleen Sebelius said that the website would run by November 30th. Are we going to see Democrats actually starting to call for her resignation if it doesn't run?
That's a good question. Marjorie, what do you think? Do Democrats need to do some sort of public revolt in order to save their own skin for the next elections?
Well, I think, again, they're all trying to play it safe, especially those who are in vulnerable seats. They started distancing themselves from this entire Affordable Care Act months before even the website debacle started. And so, again, it's about what plays in certain districts. You look at immigration reform. There are Republicans out there who also distance themselves greatly from the party when it comes to anti-immigrant or anti-immigration policy. And on health care, it's the same kind of thing. It's a polarizing topic. But I think everybody's trying to kind of brace themselves, prepare for the worst in terms of what this might look like.
All right, we'll see what you guys are doing on Sunday, because that's December 1st. That deadline will come and go.
Leftovers.
Thank you, Marjorie. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thanks
See
so
you
much.
soon.